Hello and welcome to a uniquely smashing episode of a weekly Waypoint. Today we are playing, you guessed it, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the game that I ranted about buying, not ranted, the game that I went on about buying at length in last week's episode, which nobody watched. Seriously, I've got the data right here. Nobody clicked that video. All of my talk in that video about how I might try and make titles more appetizing for people to click, I tried it, and it failed. So I get to never have to do it again. That's right, I'm counting that video's failure as a good thing, because I'm weird. Anyway, it's not really about videos performing well. If I was counting videos as performing well, then I wouldn't be making videos, because they universally do not perform well. I'm just here for fun. Now, in regards to the gameplay,
I've never been much of a fighter. Apologies for what you're about to see.
as Sir Davos just hinted to you, I'm inexperienced at Smash. I'm not going to be providing good gameplay here, although I do think it got slightly better as time went on. I was a little bit rusty because I haven't played it at all in a couple of days. But yeah, it's Kirby versus Samus, the showdown that everyone has been waiting to see. I just told the CPU to hit random, and the CPU, if I dare admit such a heinous crime, is only level 3, the default that the game tells you to put it on. I mentioned this a little bit last week, but the last time I played, and the first time I played Super Smash Bros. Was Brawl on the Wii. Kinda skipped the 3DS and Wii U versions, kinda skipped the Wii U as a console, let's be real here. Although for 3DS resale market is anything to go by, it'll probably cost £500 to get one by November. But how have I been enjoying Smash so far? A lot. I've been enjoying it a lot. I've been playing lots of different fighters. A video is, I think, about to go live in a week or two of my first experiences playing the game. Look for it in Miscellaneous Shenanigans, volume 28. There we go. Looked it up. It's volume 28. I was surprised at how familiar Ultimate is, like from the menus to the fighting to the levels. Like it I mean, I'm sure Brawl doesn't look as good as this, right? I'm gonna go back and look at some Brawl footage and, like, at some point in the future and be like, oh, I thought it looked just like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it doesn't. The one thing I do remember about Brawl is, for whatever reason, it went for kind of like a weirdly gritty art style. So Mario looked really gritty, and there's a level in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate called Mushroomy Kingdom, which is the side-scrolling kind of one where it's all, like, super, like, beige. That's just like what the entirety of Brawl maybe not looked like, but the theme it was going for. This is a lot more true to the original characters' art styles. Something I think I've learned in my time playing Ultimate so far that I did not learn through the entirety of me playing Brawl is that regular punching and kicking is very important. I used to just play Kirby and spam the hammer and spam the thing, and I think my gameplay still looks probably slightly spammy, but it's fine, don't worry about it. I haven't got online yet. As I mentioned, I have been working my way through the roster, making sure to play characters that aren't just Kirby, and so far I've found that I really enjoyed playing characters like Donkey Kong and Bowser, which I did not expect. I really enjoy playing sword fighters as well, like Link and Young Link and the other ones, and yeah, the ones that I did not like so much was actually Samus. I played a bit of Samus, and I do not like fighting as Samus at all. I find that her drop bomb thing she does is super ineffective and kind of pointless. I asked a friend about that, and he said, oh, it's mostly just utility. But I'm thinking, what kind of utility? What kind of situation would it be helpful to have a really weak little bomb to drop on someone? Another thing I'm still coming to terms with is very careful usage of direction when obviously executing combos. In multiple times in this video I go to do the up little sword strike and I accidentally do the mallet strike instead because I didn't move my what's the fucking word, analog stick all the way upwards. It's something that I'm sure will come with time, but I don't love it. I wish you could use the D-pad instead, but the D-pad is reserved for other things. But yeah, but saying that, you can probably rebind it. I think this game has a pretty heavy rebind feature. One thing I did do was turn off up to jump, so that I have to press X or Y to jump instead, just because I think it's it makes the game feel less floaty that way. And I know I'm playing as Kirby and I'm complaining about the game feeling floaty, but just let me have this one. So yeah, I'm enjoying Smash. I'm enjoying my first little mess around here in Super Smash Bros. While £60 is still a very steep asking price, I do think that the amount of content in the game justifies it. I have been surprised just by how much there is to do and collect and different ways to play and all that kind of a thing. Plus, this game is like a YouTube thumbnail generator. I'm gonna have the easiest time making a good thumbnail for this video. But Christian, I hear you ask, yelling to the clouds in the hopes that somewhere I might hear you, what else have you been playing this week? Well, dear viewer, I funny story, a friend of mine in work asked me what games I've been playing lately, and I just kind of stalled and went, everything. I've just been playing everything. And I think, again, I touched on this last week, but I'm still in this kind of area where I'm just playing a little bit of everything. I downloaded everything to my big old external hard drive. Did I talk about that last week? No, this happened the day after the last weekly Waypoint. So basically, I remembered that my PS4 has a 2TB hard drive that I'm not currently using. So instead, I formatted it for Xbox games, and now I can download 2TB worth of Xbox One and Xbox 360 games and original Xbox games. Everything that isn't the current gen, basically. So I downloaded about 700 gigabytes of games in one night. Yep, I've played a little bit of Battlefield 5, I've been playing a little bit of, I kept Star Wars Battlefront 2 on there, I've been playing a little bit of everything. I've been playing I re-downloaded Forza Motorsport 3 because I uninstalled Forza Motorsport 4 for space earlier, so I'm like, well, I can just supplement my interest with 3, because the only reason I stopped playing Forza Horizon 3 about a month or two ago is because my friend wanted to play 4 with me, and now that's kind of over with. We're playing different games now. So yeah, re-downloaded 3, downloaded Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, downloaded a bunch of games which I would have had kept installed from months ago if I didn't have space, or didn't have to delete them for space, basically. As a result, just been dipping my toe in a bunch of things, and I used the space I saved on my internal drive to download Doom Eternal, which now is a Series XS game. And I would probably have a lot to say about Doom Eternal if I had played more than, I think, the first 3 levels, but I stopped because I realised that Halo Infinite comes out this holiday, and I'm still at the start of Halo 3, so I decided, because Halo Master Chief Collection unfortunately is also a Series X and S game, so I still have issues with downloading big size games for those titles. I decided to delete Doom Eternal for now and replace it with Halo. I'm gonna try and push through those Halo games so I'm up to date with the story. I think I'm about halfway through Halo 3 at the minute, and yes, that does mean that there will be more Master Chief Shenanigan videos in the future. But yeah, as a result, I can't really point to any one thing and say I've been playing this week, because it really has been everything. I've been playing a bunch of Apex Legends on Xbox with Reese, and without Reese. Like, I downloaded it and played just some games by myself with some randoms, which I never normally do in Battle Royales. Usually I'm playing with Reese, and it's obviously way more fun to play with Reese, but it's still fun. I'm probably going to play some matches when he's not around, like, that way again. Until I played Apex on Xbox, I didn't realise just how much the frame drops I was having on PC was affecting my performance in that game. And I mean, obviously, like, if I see an enemy and then my frame hitches for a second or two, I'm going to take a whole bunch of damage and not be able to do anything about it. But I've always waved it off as like, oh, it's fine, it's not that big of a deal. Turns out I'm not so bad. We won a game, me and Reese played the other day, and I think it was our 4th or 5th game, and we won it, and it was pretty fun. Also, it helps that you can queue as duos now, except you can't at the minute because some idiot hacked the game, and it's literally unplayable now, like, not even meme worthy. They hacked the game to say save Titanfall 1 from hackers, so well done. You're your own worst enemy there, and until they do that, I guess no one's allowed to play Apex. So cool, awesome, thanks guys. So instead of that, me and Reese played a bunch of Talisman last night, the board game, the digital edition of it on Steam, which was fun. And then he got Tabletop Simulator, and we played a bunch of chess, and we played some other games that aren't necessarily board games. We just messed around with the physics. That game is a lot of fun, and there's probably going to be a lot of clips coming out about that in a future video too. So yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with that lately. But also, one last thing to talk about in this video before it inevitably ends and we all have to go back to the grim reality that is our lives without video games for a moment. I've been getting into Picross, or is it Picross? I think it's Picross. You know that little puzzle game where there's numbers on the edge of a screen and you have to use logic to determine how many boxes need to be filled with colour, and then it makes a picture at the end of it. That one. I've never gotten into that before, but I downloaded the demo, and that was a mistake because I ended up buying a game. I used my Nintendo Gold points that I got from spending so much money last week on Nintendo to bring the game down to just £2.50, and yes, I can still afford a £2.50 little game. So I did it, and there's 300 levels, and I have solemnly vowed to beat them all. Picross S for the Nintendo Switch, I am not joking, is such a good game. It is very addictive, although I haven't got to the harder puzzles yet, so we'll see how that goes. But it's like you could write an essay about how that game is the perfect example of how important UI can be in a game, because that game is all UI, right? It's it's all UI, that's what Picross is. But the way it's presented, it just makes it come across as so professional and polished and just nice. It reminds me of a lot of, like, I don't know how to say it, but like first party Nintendo DS and Wii games, in like how clean the UI and aesthetic is for those. I don't know how to explain it. Hopefully you understand what I mean by that, but yeah, something about Picross, it doesn't feel like... You know what it feels like? It feels like they've taken a very basic game and they've put tons and tons of product value into it. That's not the word. Production value, that's the one. They've put a lot of production value into a very basic interface that makes it feel very sleek, that makes it feel very just nice to be in and exist in and solve puzzles in. And let me tell you, when you solve a Picross puzzle, it all starts to fit together like pieces of a jigsaw, except even more I don't know how to say it more satisfyingly than that. I feel like I've just found God. I feel like I was an atheist and now I found religion, and I am now a Christian boy who wants everyone to understand how good the religion cult of Picross is. Everyone needs to play it. I did try downloading a demo for one that I would have been able to spend all of my gold points on and no money at all, which is called Picross. And the thing about that game is that you would also use that in the essay about how good Picross's UI is in the counterpoint, because, or not the counterpoint, but like the example of it being done wrong, because Picross is also a good Picross game. It has lots of Picross puzzles, it introduces colour in there as well. For all intents and purposes, I should have got that game. But the UI is just a lot more basic and a lot less polished and a lot less sleek, and yeah, I just spent the last 3 or 4 minutes rambling about UI, so there you go. There are 300 puzzles in Picross S, and as I said, I failed to complete them all. I'm wondering if there's also 300 puzzles in every game, because there's 6 Picross games on the Switch, and they all cost about $8.99, so I'm not just going to go out my way and buy them all at once or anything dumb like that. I would never, it's not like I would need a fix, a Picross fix. But I'm currently like 20 puzzles in, so I've got a lot of Picross ahead of me. But it's really nice to just boot up at night before I go to bed and just solve a couple of puzzles. And I do find that when I go to like turn it off or put it away, I'm like, one more, just one more puzzle, just one more. And yeah, here's a little bit bonus section of a video, by the way. I wasn't planning to record this, but a new foe appeared, and yeah, here's Ike. We like Ike. He's another sword user. Apparently, Smash Bros. Doesn't have many sword users, and people love it when people add sword users. That's my extent of knowledge about the meta of this game. But to answer your question between who would win, one knight, I don't know who Ike is, I assume he's a Fire Emblem character, but one Fire Emblem looking knight character, or one round pink boy, of course. It was the round pink boy, because he is the best. Thank you for watching, I'll see you for this video.